How are you guys doing? So, yeah, my best tips for quitting porn. So, I've done quite a lot of these videos over the course of the lockdown and really come to the same conclusion. So, I'm going to share some good tips today, and these have worked for me. So, I think the first thing you need in order to quit pornography and stop watching porn or overcome porn addiction, whatever word you prefer, is you need a positive distraction. You need a new hobby. You need something that makes you happy in life, something that you're excited about doing, but that obviously doesn't leave you feeling bad after, like porn does. So it's really about finding a hobby and really finding some happiness in your life. And when you've got that, what happens is that tends to dictate most of your energy and your focus and your enthusiasm. So when you're busy, putting all your time and your energy into your hobby, whatever that is, whether that's making videos or photography, graphic design, walking, fitness, singing, music, dancing, whatever it is, whatever your thing is that you love doing, once you get into that and you start making progress and you start seeing yourself succeeding, or even if you're not succeeding straight away, I'm just getting comfortable when it's a challenge. That gives you that drive, and when you're doing that, your mind's not on pornography, and you're less likely to be tempted. So, hold on a second, let's get water. So that's one of the best things I've found, and it's not the obvious one that most people gravitate towards. Most people focus on the addiction itself. They're like, how can I stop looking at? Well, it's like I said, you have to distract yourself by finding something better in your life. That's really important. I think that's the best tip I could give. That's the best thing I've found. The next best thing, obviously, and this depends if you're single and you want a relationship, and I know it's easier said than done, but seek a relationship, find a real relationship. And I think those two pieces of advice I've given you, they're the best advice I could give on quitting porn addiction. These are the things that helped me to do it successfully. And then there's some other basic things like common sense, blocking it from all of your, your laptop, your phone. The network I'm on free network. It doesn't allow you to go on porn sites. If you try and do it, it just blocks it. And then there's a lot of hassle if you wanted to unblock that. So that's good. That's a good thing. And that was just an accident. I got that network a couple of years ago and stayed with it. So maybe that's something you want to think about doing. So, blocking it, distraction through finding a new hobby. And it's kind of good, because if you haven't got a hobby, then watching this video will make you realize what you're missing out on. So I don't think there's any excuse. I don't think there's anyone who hasn't got something that they'll be good at, they'll be talented at, and that they would really enjoy and be passionate about. So when you find that thing, it is a lot easier. And like I said, if you're single and you don't want to be, I know it's hard and it's very difficult during a pandemic when you've got a lot of time on your hands and you live on your own and you're lonely and you're not able to date and you haven't found someone yet. It can be really difficult keeping away from porn and stuff. And that's why, for me personally, I think challenges are really good, like practicing discipline, like dieting, or giving up some time on social media, strengthening your discipline, because that's really what it comes down to, like I said. But I still think even more powerful than the discipline is the passion, the hobby. You only need one thing, think about when you was a young kid and you were obsessed with video games. When we're young kids, we always have phases that we go through, and that's all. And you tend to just do that for most of the time, for most part. So for me, overcoming any negative addiction is always about replacing it with a positive hobby. Getting addicted to the right things as opposed to the wrong things. But look, as you know, with these things, it's not always straightforward. It could be easy for some people. It depends on how strong-minded you are. It depends on how addicted you are. For some people, it won't be that hard. It might just be a case of a bit more discipline and willpower. For others, it might be really difficult because you might be really addicted to it. You've been addicted to it for a long time and it's become a habit, it's become a routine. So it's going to take a little bit more work, but you can get there if you really want to. So I can't really think of much else than that. Like I said, any of those 3 or 4 bits of advice I've given you, that they've really helped me, work for me. And I've like I said, it's really just a lot of it is about self-development. That's the best solution to getting over this. And I suppose for some people, I never needed to get that, but there's no shame in it at all. Maybe there, if you needed to get help, professional help, I'm sure there's places that do it. You can kind of find everything online now. You might need a group, you might need some group therapy or one-on-one, or speak to somebody, a counsellor, or someone who specialises in porn addiction, and see if they can help you if it's really that bad and it's ruining your life. And I think that's a question to ask yourself is, I'm not condoning it, because I think it should be banned anyway. I don't know why they keep it running. They should just ban it off all the sites. But is it really ruining your life? Is it ruining other aspects? And if it is, that's when I think you need to take it a bit more serious. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today. We got this lovely weather today, really sunny, so I'm going to go out for a walk, enjoy that. And exercise is really good. That's another thing that can be part of a hobby. You know, when you exercise, you get in good endorphins. You feel a release in a different way, and you know, all these things. At the end of the day, however you're trying to overcome it, you're trying to find a way of getting positive emotions. And the things that I've named today, they will give you those positive emotions. And I know porn addiction can be a bit more complicated than that, but for most part, you know, it's just finding happiness in other areas. And then I think the real relationship is fundamentally the key. But then again, some people argue, you know, there's married men that are still addicted to porn. There's men that have got girlfriends and they're still using it. I think that's another matter that I'm not going to go into too heavily, because I can't really give advice too much on that, because I never had that problem. But I'm just sharing things that I've used that have worked for me, and it's always been a real relationship, a distraction from it, and a hobby, something that I really enjoy, that I'm, you know, something that's long term that you can develop. And that tends to and like I said, having it blocked from all of you, because if you really want it, you can you can put security, I'm sure. You can block these sites or make it very difficult so that they're hard to unblock. And I think less time on social media, because social media has a lot of little negative traps that can, you know, they can trigger you and draw you into watching those sites. And I've one of the themes I've learned throughout lockdown is getting out and going for walks, you know, going out and seeing nature. If you're stuck in your house all day and you've got the laptop next to you, it's tempting, very tempting if you're bored, down, lonely. So other things, the social aspect's important. I know I've covered that in other videos on porn addiction. I've done so many throughout the lockdown. You can check them on the channel, go through and take the little tips and bits that you need, see what works for you, because everyone's different. I might make a video and it will work for one person or 100 people, and it might not work for someone else. So that's why I'm always trying to give you different approaches, different ways of looking at it. But I know it's easier said than done, but don't make it a bigger deal than it actually is when you think about it. If you make it a big deal, then it becomes bigger than what it is. So by all means, take it serious, and if you're dedicated and you want to get the help however you do it, but I hope my advice could help. Let me know if it did in the box below. Let me know the approaches that you've tried. Maybe you tried other approaches and they didn't work, or you tried some approaches and they have worked. So that's it for today. Enjoy the video. As always, like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the comments.